Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Wisdom Within. In this episode, we have part two with Jackie, and we go into her relationship with social media. She just hit 1 million followers, and it's super interesting to hear just how she relates to it, how she got started, how she remains authentic on it, and her relationship to body image, and all of these interesting topics. So stay tuned and can't wait to hear your thoughts. A lot of love. And that was one of the next things I wanted to go into. And I know you're going to get shy talking about your social media. She's almost at 1 million followers on TikTok. And the way that she just is authentic, I think, is what has got you where you are. And I think people often are always trying to say, like, how do you grow? How do you do this? How do you do that? And actually, authenticity in a lot of spiritual teachings is the highest frequency. And so some of us take a lifetime and don't even get there, but you're already there in a lot of ways. Yes, you have places to work on, but also for you, it's like obvious to show up authentic. And I think that's something that I really want you to speak about, because I think there's not many people like that at all.
Aw, Kaminsky.
It's true. I tell you this all the time.
Yeah, you want me to talk about social media?
Yeah, maybe just, well, yeah, go for whatever you want to say, like speak about how it started and also just how you honor yourself through it so much. Like, I remember if you like don't want to do it, like you don't do it. I know maybe that changes out of time, but like you really like do it from a place of like feeling. And
Yeah.
also, yeah, you really inspired like my feminine awakening as well, because well, this is a whole nother thing, but when I
Yeah.
met you, I was super masculine. Like, we can't rest that much. Like, let's keep going. And you were like so able to just relax, have a clear mind, do things from your feelings. And I was like, wow. And now I'm like, this is what I'm like here to teach, and that it's amazing. But okay, I'm gonna let you talk because I could just keep going on about you.
You're so cute. Yeah, I don't know. Definitely started social media just like for fun. I was making Harry Styles and One Direction videos during 2020. And then I just like made one talking video in Russian and I got a lot of views on it. And I was like, well, this is funny. So I started telling jokes and I started mocking like the Slavic parent style. Like there's certain sayings that like Russian people will say. They're like, "Oh, if you sit on a cold surface, you'll never be able to have children." Like there's just like ridiculous statements that people will say, especially Russian parents. And I started like making jokes about it and I started getting all these followers and it was never about money and it still is not about money. It's nice now that I'm able to tap in and like this like is my hobby. I've just been like doing it since 2020. It's been like what, almost 5 years now. And I'm just now after literally 4.5 years, I'm just now tapping into like making it about money as well. I loved the idea of entertaining people and just like making people laugh. And that is all I cared about. And reading those comments from me being like, it would just make my day. Cause I was like, wow, I really made someone's day better. Like this is crazy. And so that's just what I did. I never was one to follow trends, all those things that are like how to get followers and views on social media. Like I hate those people because it's like so fake. All of it is so fake. And they'll be like the best times to post or this for the algorithm. Like those type of like robotic people are just trying to scam you into some kind of course and it really pisses me off because I think at the end of the day if like someone who's watching this wants to do social media, just post what you like to post. Do what you like to do. I promise you there will be people who are interested in what you have to say. There's always people interested in what you have to say. I literally made a video about vintage Russian jewelry and then 5 minutes later I made a video about ranking the best and worst ways how to die. Like I do the most randomest things that is just like I don't know. I think showing up authentically is more fun for you as well, because then you actually enjoy what you're doing and you're just like, wow, I like this. This looks cool. Instead of
Yeah, and
being
it's
like,
also aligned with your truth and what you're actually here to say, as opposed to like, what are all the other people saying and how can I like copy that so I can get followers? Like that energy is completely different to like getting an idea and just doing it just because, like,
yeah,
why not? That's what
yeah,
you do. Like, you literally just get an idea and you're like, I'm just gonna shoot this. And I
yeah.
think seeing you do it, I remember like I knew you had a lot of followers, but like we never spoke about it. And I remember I was like wanting to ask you, but it felt like this like weird thing because I think before I met you, like I feel like a lot of people might relate to this. Like you have an idea of like what influencers are like. You kind of have this idea that maybe they're like fake or they're people that you like couldn't be friends with or they're people that are just like not normal and so well like not normal but you know what I mean, like just not relatable. And I think I was like, oh, you know, this is interesting that because actually, you know, I had a vision that I was going to be friends with someone who was an influencer.
I think you
Like,
told me that, yeah. And no, I don't like to call myself that, and I never talk about it. I never talk about it. Anyone who knows me knows I don't talk about it. I never bring it up. Like, it will be the uttermost. Like, you'll have to kill me before I start talking about it. It's usually like
yeah.
someone else brings it up and they're like, hey, I saw you. Or like, they'll be like, I didn't know you had this. Like, tell me about it. And then I'll talk about it because, like, it's just like one of those things. Like, imagine you're a doctor and then in your free time to be yourself and let loose, you go home, you turn on some jazz music and you paint. Like, when you meet people, you don't automatically tell them I'm a painter. You know, you tell them
Mm.
you're a doctor and you tell them that, like, oh, I went to Cambridge University. Like, she never talks about that. That's what Talia doesn't talk about. I don't talk about TikTok. Talia does not talk about Cambridge. She like forgets that she went to like the #1 university ever. And I always have to be like, yeah, this is Talia and she went to Cambridge. Like, that's how I
She's an influencer.
but yeah, like, it's one of those things where, like, it's not at all my defining factor. It is not the biggest thing about me. It's merely a hobby. It's merely a hobby for me that I'm so lucky I'm able to monetize. I mean, that is insane. I mean, that is like such a privilege to be able to do, because people have hobbies all the time. You can't monetize hiking unless you like start some kind of group. I don't know. But like, if you have some kind of passion,
That is the power of social media. That like if you wanted to monetize hiking, that would be how you do it because you just create videos of you hiking.
yeah,
But
yeah. But
again, you have to enjoy the video part, you know.
yeah,
And I think, yeah, just seeing the way you did it was just so interesting to me. And I remember you started to be like, you should post. And like, again, it was part of that initiation of like stepping into myself because like I was like not posting at all at that time, I think, on anything. And I was like, oh, I think you just have this idea that it's just like not possible for you. And like still that comes in for me, like I'm gonna be honest, because like it feels like it's like something not attainable sometimes. But again, like anything is attainable for you. It's just like if you believe that it's not, then it's not. You have to start somewhere. And also it's like really connecting to your intention. So like your intention was always to like make people laugh, and mine is to like spread wisdom and truth and like authenticity for people to be able to step into that themselves. And I think when you're doing it, you forget that how much people that you're inspired by inspire you. And so like it's not about me, it's about like just giving people permission to just even this conversation for people might be super like, oh my God, it's so open, you know? So
yeah.
I think we forget about that when you're in it. But yeah, you really like encouraged me to do it. And still I'm sometimes like, oh my God, what am I doing? But it's like a journey and like you have to start somewhere and like I don't know where it's going. I don't know how long I'm gonna, you know, you just kind of like write it out. I'm like, I'm traveling, I may as well just like share what I'm doing because you were like, oh, you do such interesting things. And I was like, you know what I
I
do?
mean, yeah. But here's the thing. Here's two sides of the spectrum that I think people are like blinded by social media is people think that you have to do crazy things to have something to say online. And like for Talia's instance, I don't think she's even taking advantage of like 99% of the situations that she's been in. She's like literally like if I just have
Every
to like
day
keep
I'm like doing something crazy and like
I
I
have
can't
to
even
just
keep up to share it. Like you're like the only person I like actively share everything with, and like I don't even know how to even start sharing it because there's just so
I
many things.
I can't because like I love to tell story times. Story time like crazy like sexual story times, like crazy like political story times or like insane story times, natural disaster story times. Like I don't care. I love being dramatic. I love making people go and so I think the amount of things that Talia has been through while traveling. I mean, even like before, like there's so much that she has to say that it's just like it's overwhelming. I'm like, Talia, how have you not sat down and just like quickly made a like a 2-minute video about this like I don't know penis ritual you just did? Like I don't know, like what I'm saying is just like there's so much that you do that would just like people don't know about this type of thing. And the other version of this is someone like me who right now does not have like this exciting life of like travel and meeting new people and doing this. Yet I am making videos about like rating perfumes and like doing these like I don't know, just like the weirdest things in my house. Like I'm going through my closet and I'm finding all these like weird clothes that I'm asking people's help. Like, what do you think? Should I keep this? Should I not keep this? Is this still in style? Like there are millions of ideas you could do just in a 1,800 square foot apartment, just with your things, just with your thoughts.
Creativity is infinite.
Yeah, and I think people forget that. I think people like force themselves to like go buy things, like expensive things, like go, I don't know. They think just for a video they have to go like do something, but you don't understand. Like it's your perception, it's what you have, what you have to say about it. I mean, I do all kinds of things. I help people with hair products. I make people laugh. I tell crazy stories.
But the
And
point is, you just do whatever you feel. And I
yeah,
think that's the thing of like learning to tap into that. Because the other way of doing it is from here, like, how can I get this XY goal? How can I buy these things to make it possible? How can I buy this course? Whereas when you do it from here, it's like, okay, what random thing is coming into my field now that I just want to share? And I think, again, that's like a throat chakra communication block that I'm still working through because, like, I'll like feel it and then I'm like, oh, but like, who actually want to hear that? Or like, how out there should I be? Should I talk about a penis if my dad is watching? But you're just like, so just being around you, you're just like, so I don't care. But I'm saying like, most people aren't like that. And that's why you've been so good at it.
yeah, I got told digital footprint is like a giant thing in America. They tell us that ever since
Same.
we're
I'm still working through that wound because you're like, oh, but like, what if this person sees it and then they think this of me? But it's like people are always going to say things about you. Like you get called fat online all the time,
yeah,
and you've just got.
I get called a man, I get called fat, I get like there's just like infinite amounts of things I get called online.
And
So,
maybe you could speak a bit about that or what I just said, just like how you're in this place. Because I think for you, it might just be second nature. But for
yeah,
most people, whether you want to post on social media or use this conversation for your life in any way, like, what would you say?
I don't know. I think that when I started, I was never doing really controversial topics online. And I think what also separates me from a lot of influencers is I'm not about looks. Like my entire account is not sexual. It is like 100%, not 100, maybe like
Yeah, because sometimes
80% of, yeah, 80% of the time it's like here and up. Like I am purely wanting my viewers to listen to what I'm saying and not look at me physically. And it's not because I'm self-conscious. I think I'm a good-looking person, but it's because I just like value and I just don't feel comfortable. Like I don't watch videos. Like when someone's just like really good looking online, it's like kind of boring. I scroll. Like but it doesn't come without hate, obviously. And I was always told like, oh, you're being so vulnerable online. Why are you saying this? This is so inappropriate. In the beginning, before I was at serious numbers online, my parents, and this is for a lot of people, I feel like this is a big thing, is people when you're not successful and when you're trying to get successful, they will try to tear you down because they don't believe in you. And so when I was at this like 20,000 follower mark, 40,000 follower mark, maybe 100,000 follower mark, for a lot of people, this is a lot of like followers. Obviously, for me, it's like nowhere near where I am now. But at the time, I was still like telling crazy stories and like opening up about gross parts of myself and like, I don't know, just like insane things. My parents were like, this is embarrassing for like our family friends are watching you and they're telling us what you're saying and this is like embarrassing and this is why are you saying this? Like your future jobs are going to find this. My future jobs will know the same person that they see online. It's not embarrassing for me because I'm already like this in person and those people that will be interviewing me, I will be telling them the same stories I'm telling online. I'll
And
be
that's the
upfront.
thing, you're so okay with who you are.
Yeah.
And like, I
I just
don't know if there was something that got you to that place or you're just like that. I think you're just like that.
I think I'm just like that and I can't imagine being differently because having to live your life putting on and this is I don't want to say the word fake because I feel like that can be perceived different, but like a lot of humans and most humans, I mean, even I do this, you wear different faces for different people to adapt to environments and to like, but I seem to have like the same face everywhere I go. And maybe sometimes it's just toned down when I'm feeling less comfortable, but it's the same. So for whenever people were telling me, Jackie, why are you talking about this online? Jackie, are you not scared this person is going to see this? Because I would still talk shit about people online. I'm like, no, because I've already told them how I feel. And if they ask me, I'll say, yes, this is actually how I feel. Thanks for asking. Now we can talk about it. Like, the thing
Yeah.
is like, I just feel like there's no time on this earth to just hide parts of yourself
Mm.
because people are gonna hate you regardless. People hate me. I mean, my own friends hate me. Like I'm not like people Talia will be like, everyone loves Bunny, like she's gonna say that, but the truth is that like not everyone likes me at all. And
But that's the
people
whole thing is that like if you are showing up authentically, that means that there's no hiding. So if people want to accept you, they can accept you. People don't, they don't. And like
yeah.
you're okay with that because you're like, I know I'm in my truth.
I used to really want to be liked. In high school, it was like traumatic if someone didn't like me. I was like, oh, why don't they like me? And now it's
Mm.
like, I don't know. It's just that's okay. That's okay if they don't like me. I had people openly not like me at my internships, and I was like, I'm just going to keep on trying my best for them. I know they don't like me. I'm still going to be nice to their face. I don't like them back. So, but yeah, I don't know. With that comes confidence, obviously, because you don't have to have this switch in your head. You know who wants to be in your life, you know who doesn't. You're not trying to keep people in. And so when you're out doing social media, if this is about social media, if you're doing social media, you start caring about these comments. And in fact, I keep these hate comments because they give me money. And that's great. So
Yeah.
sometimes it
You
does.
you you love a controversial moment.
I love a controversial moment. I love a hate comment. Tell me more. It's like dirty talk.
But you weren't always in that place when you first used to get them. It would
No, and
upset
there's
you.
still there's still some times where I posted myself in my luteal phase and I was wearing a dress and oh, I looked a little bit bigger in my stomach area and everyone lost it in my comments. And it did get to me a little bit. I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I did not think that this was that dramatic." And it definitely made me for the next few days like I was hesitant to post anything like below my chest, like I'm talking like full body things. And even last week I did a get ready with me like fit check for my friend's birthday and I haven't posted it because
Mm.
again, I am fine with how I look, but I know the internet might not be fine with how I look in that video. I was wearing like this white dress and my stomach was a little out, like poking out a little and I was like, I mean, I'm fine with this, but
Mm.
I don't necessarily, I'm not in the mood to read other people being not fine with it. And it's definitely one of those things where I get to choose, right? I get to choose what I post, what I don't post. But yeah, it's definitely not just like a, oh, I don't care. You're always going to care,
Mm.
right? You go from no one ever telling you to your face that you're fat to people continuously telling you that and commenting on body parts that you didn't even know could be insecure about. Why are people commenting
Mm.
on this part of my stomach that I thought was just normal and I never paid attention to? I think it makes you go back into this like little girl, and like when the
Mm.
first time a little girl gets offended and like makes fun. Like I used to have a unibrow, and kids, like guys at school, would be like, they just come up to me and just go like this, and I'd be like, like, you
Aw.
know, yeah. I mean, it just makes you go back to that and just. But then you have to remember, you know, that you love yourself and whatever. It's just people online.
Yeah, thanks for being honest about that. I think a lot of people say they don't care, but then they do. And I think at different points in your life, like you'll feel more sensitive to that. Like even me, like sometimes I feel great and then other times I don't. And like that's okay. We're constantly like in flow. But I also think your confidence, and I remember us talking about how one of your things was to make women feel better about how they look, or like
Yeah.
help people with body confidence. Because I remember you would even speak about like armpit hair and things like that
Oh my God.
online.
Yeah. I think growing up, I think for both of us, we can say this. We had a lot of people in our lives, friends, family, who were really focused on looks, and it consumed them. I mean, to this day, I think you have people in your life where looks
Yeah.
consume them. I have people in my life that looks consume them. And even being around them, I was never hyper aware of how I looked. I didn't give a single shit how I looked. Like I was just this little girl with poodle hair, like running around. I didn't really care. And being around those people, they're always like, oh, do I look good? Do I look good? Constantly taking pictures of themselves and constantly being like fixing themselves and being like, I look so fat. I look like it makes you start obviously thinking like that as well. And so in high school, there was I mean, literally up until I was like 20, anytime there was a pool party, I would pretend to be on my period just to not get in the water, to not wear a bikini because I was not comfortable. And now I look back at pictures when I was 16 and I was like a twig. You know, it's just like, why? I can't believe that little girl was so
Mm.
scared of her own body, you know? And it
Mm.
took me it was like a switch. I turned 20 and I was like, who cares? You know, I'm healthy. I like clothes. I like how I look. Like, who cares? And I just stopped. And I think one of the things was so refreshing with you is that you were the same. Like, it was like, yeah, looks, okay, but it was never a topic of conversation. We were never like, oh, like how do I look today? Which don't get me wrong, it's good to look, it's okay to look
Yeah,
nice and
we
like
both love like dressing up and like looking
yeah,
cute.
we love dressing up, but it's just about the fact that like we're not hyper fixated on how we look and how we are perceived to other people.
Mm.
You're never going to see these people in public ever again, most likely. I think people are just like really because this whole insecurity comes down to you're being scared that you're being perceived by someone else
Mm.
wrongfully or like, but I don't know why. For you and me, it was just like it was just you and me, and then everyone else was just kind of like NPCs around us. Like I don't know. Like
Yeah, I mean, it took me a journey, and I think even in that year where we spent all that, had times where I was not confident. I remember you being like, "You need to feel more confident," and I think
yeah,
you've had times like that too. And I think now maybe I don't know where you're at right now. Now I'm in a place where I feel amazing in my body, but it's a journey, and I think just know that wherever you are, that like yeah, it is all about how you accept yourself. It's all about you, because people are
mhm,
always going to say something. Like you're never going to be right for everyone.
yeah, 100%. It's also maybe you're not even getting direct comments. I mean, my family, I no, I think both of our families are pretty like
Pretty
both of
open.
our yeah, both of our families are pretty open about like fat shaming and like just body negativity. They're really they like something a certain way and they're not really accepting of a different way, and they're really not even, I wouldn't even say open. They're really comfortable. They're too comfortable with telling a grown woman, even I'm not even talking about us as kids, like that's a whole different thing on its own that probably caused you trauma, you know, even now, like you're still dealing with that. But even they're comfortable enough to tell us as adults, which is a whole different thing. Like we're already grown up. Like, how are you gonna tell us, you know, it's just I don't know. I think family is a big thing as well. When you're not accepted by your own family and when you're being constantly told to go on a diet or to limit certain foods or you need to exercise more. It's like, you know, it's a
Yeah, I mean,
little
it's definitely like generational and cultural, like where our parents grew up, like that was normal. But I think for me, like, again, that was a whole journey, which I'm going to do another episode on. But like, again, I got to a place where I had to like really speak out and say, stop, after years of just saying nothing. And after that, I noticed a big shift. And even now, it's come to a place of acceptance where like that's how they see the world, and I'll never be how they want me to be, accepting that and then knowing like I see the world differently, and like how can I like love them anyway? Because I think people have this idea of like if you're an influencer then you always need to look good and you always need to
oh my God,
put your
no.
best foot forward, and
Oh my
you just
God.
show all of you.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I also became numb to beauty. That's a different thing. Is like I myself, if you ask me, oh, is that a pretty girl? Like, I won't even be able to give you a response because I'm so with TikTok and all these things. I think all of us have seen so many people, like more, we're not supposed to be seeing this many people a day.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think we've seen so many good looking people that now I'm like not impressed. Like Instagram photos, they don't impress me anymore. Like I remember I used to be like, wow, she posted this photo. And I would used to think about this photo that this one girl posted for like weeks. I'd be like, wow. But now it just seems like everyone has the same photo and it's, you know, they all look good, but I don't recognize anything like special. And I no
mm,
longer find beauty in the physical at all. Like between a man, a woman, anyone.
mm,
That also leaned into myself. I also find it difficult I'm like very gender neutral towards myself in that regard. Like I'm like,
yeah,
you know, I do cool. I brush my eyebrows, I do my hair, put an earring in, and I look good, but I don't feel this like really beautiful sensation. And I don't see it
mm,
like that much in myself. And I also don't see it in other people, which is why I mean, this is like weird, but I've noticed this has happened to me. I've become numb to over the past couple of years. But this is why I'm so comfortable, like not looking good online. Not like I don't look good to
mm,
Pilates class. I have hairy armpits. I go to HEB in like my pajamas. I go online with day 6 not washed hair and like frizz is coming out of places where frizz is not supposed to come out of. It's just like, and I still am able to make people laugh. So, and that's all that matters. I don't know, like,
yeah. I love you for that
and
so
I love you for
much.
that.
No, I love you
No,
for
I love
that.
you
But
for
I
that.
think for you, this whole beauty as an image thing, you spoke to me about that, but that meant that beauty for you was a lot about within.
I definitely see beauty. The better someone treats me, the better I think they look. I think that's called demisexual.
So she's very
Yeah,
attracted to me.
I don't know. I think it's like I just feel the most attracted to someone in terms of like friendships, relationships, whatever, whenever things are done for me, I'm doing things for them, I feel seen, I feel heard, small things, a little letter, a little you found a rock that reminded you of me and you gave it to me. Oh.
We did
Um
so many gifts all the time.
I know. Me and
I
Talia
miss
did a lot of
that.
gift exchanges. I don't know, it's just like I came home really tired. Talia already made dinner and cooked, which was crazy at the time because usually I cooked. And so sometimes she'd make me pasta and she learned to cook the way I liked it, which is a different type of feeling seen because there's something like, you know, she's going to make me dinner and she's going to make me something that she's just making, that she knows how to cook. But no, she would do it she would cook the way I like it done. And I think there's such a difference with that because I don't even think that you realize there's definitely 30,000 ways to make pasta and there's 30,000 ways to make all the ingredients that whatever you would make, but she would do it the way I like. And that was a lot for me. She would get me out of
Wow.
bed. She would make me go on walks. She would make me journal, give me little gifts, help me clean my room. Yeah.
These are all things I would do.
Yeah.
Very
And
cute.
those are still things I look for in like future friendships. Like if I like, will you take me to the airport? I feel like such concepts like this these days, everything is so like money, money, money. It's so weird for me that I took my friend to the airport recently and she was like, oh, here's $5 or like, here's gas money. No, like I don't want money. I took you because I want to take you. And hopefully one day when I'm on a plane and I need someone to pick me up, you'll come get me. I
Mm,
think people are so forgetful of just common decency and the art of helping other people.
mm,
People that maybe you don't even know as well, people that you just met, people that are roommates, people like it nothing has to be transactional with money. And I think people
mm.
forget that. And that's one of the things I really value in friendships and that I really
Yeah, I
value.
think the idea of relationships being transactional is so interesting. Because on the one hand, it's like, yes, protect your energy and like it should be a fairly equal exchange in some ways. Like you don't want to be the one who's always giving, but at the same time, like, so I think some people get a little bit too like transactional and it's not coming from the heart. And we were speaking about this the other day. Just like the love that I have for you and had and still have, obviously, I think it just taught me a lot about myself. And I think you really saw the healer in me and like kind of said, go spread your wings and figure that out. Because
Yeah.
you were
I
like,
mean,
I remember you saying that, I don't know what you did, but like you did something and I felt that. And you weren't the only person who told me that, but I think you really encouraged me and saw something in me. And this is another thing about relationships. Like, yes, it's about you, but also like sometimes people come into your life and see something in you and open up a new part of you that will show you where you're going or give you a new insight. And
yeah,
that really happened with us for me.
for me too.
Ah, okay, cool.
Yeah, for me too. I don't know. I've never had such an influential friendship as with you. I think all of my other friendships have been just like nice girly friendships. They haven't really made me change so much as the friendship with you. You taught me a lot. You taught me to open up. You taught me kindness. I mean, I was already kind, but I was like kind in my own little special gremlin way.
Yeah.
But you taught me small things, you
Yeah, and
know?
then obviously men is a whole different subject, but like I think the communication piece for me was so important because now, for example, like the most recent guy that came in, like I was able to just say all the things that I wasn't happy with in a loving way, but like before I'd be like, oh, but like what if he doesn't like me? Maybe I should wait, and just like attracting people who are able to receive that because I think you did that for me, and now like that's what I wouldn't have anything less in any relationship now. So I
Yeah.
think that is one thing. And then also just like opening my heart, healing that anxious attachment style, like knowing myself as an individual. Like these are all things that before we met and like throughout our friendship really like changed for me.
Yeah.
And you obviously now have a whole relationship going on.
Yeah. I
And
mean, here's the thing with Talia is that like I think we both had kind of similar situations happen to us. And from day one, I told Talia I'm a man hater. And from day one, she said, I don't like what men have done to me, but I'm giving them a chance. Like my heart is still open. And at first I was like, what is she even saying? Because I was like, if you've been in the same situation as me, why are you so open to that?
mm,
Like, how can you not hate all of them? And I've had so many girls who have been cheated on and just ridiculous situations with these people. And Talia has always just been like, continuously open to things that have hurt her in the past, which is insane. Well, at the time, I thought that was insane. But I think she taught me of the value of second chances. And that's kind of what happened between me and my current boyfriend is I was with the help of Talia and like, I don't know, seeing how she functions. I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this relationship situation a second chance. And by then, I was already like an entire changed woman because of me and Talia's friendship and how I transformed in the matter of like 6 months. And so from then on, it just progressed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think for me, like, I mean, I found out that my human design incarnation cross, like what you're here to do is like vessel of love. And I think for me, having an open heart was always like something that I knew was truth and I knew that I was like here to do. And I think our friendship really like taught me how to do that, but in a way that was like better on earth. Because I think, as I said before, I would just channel all this love, but not know how to function in that. And
yeah.
now I'm like really able to like harness that power and like use it in friendships, use it with like future clients, people I'm helping open their heart because like now I know a lot more about that. So yeah, it's been such a beautiful journey and I'm so grateful.
Halsey.
Yeah. I always ask people at the end if you have any last bits of wisdom you want to share to anyone listening about what we talked about something completely different, any last words that want to come out your mouth.
Ooh. I think a big thing is I'm and we didn't get into this, but it's okay. But I think just stop listening to other people and how people have been living for even the past 100 years because we all come on this earth and we all leave this earth. And in 10 years, no one will even remember your name. So it doesn't matter even what you do. You don't take anything to the grave. And I think when you take yourself out of that perspective, the job that you didn't get, the car you can't afford, the stuff, you're not going to take anything of that to the grave. So you might as well just do whatever makes you happy. And yeah, wishing everyone health, happiness.
Aww. Well, yeah,
And
this is the thing. We're in the age of Aquarius, and Bunny's an Aquarius. And I think for her, living life so differently on her own terms is just how she is. And that's why she's such an inspiration. And like, she has so much wisdom, even if she claims it or knows it or doesn't. And yeah, the statement of like, you come to the earth with nothing and you leave with nothing is like an age old wisdom told by so many teachers. And you just communicated that. And it's so true. And I think both you and I, we just don't take life so seriously. We just have so much fun when we're together.
it's difficult because everyone around you is always going to say, what are you doing with your life? Like, what are you doing? You're not doing it right. You're a loser. You're unemployed. I don't
Yeah,
know
and
what else.
you just encouraged me to like do everything that I want to do. And that's the other thing. Like, you were the one who was like, go travel, go do this, say yes
Yeah.
to that. And every time I'm like, should I do this? You're like, yes. And I think having
If
that in
you,
my life again is just so amazing. I'm so grateful.
yeah, at the end of the day, if you're healthy, if you're able, go do whatever you want to do. Like, I feel like people think there's so many things stopping them, and there's just not. There's just not. It's you who's stopping yourself because you're listening to people.
Mm.
Yeah, don't live a conventional life. Do whatever you want to do. There's no script. There's literally no script to how everyone can do whatever they want to do. And
Literally. You
that's
get to
I
write your
have
own script.
yeah, I have to remind myself that like constantly. I'm not just here preaching that. I mean, I get upset. I'm right now looking for a job in
Yeah.
television,
And I'm like,
but then
come travel.
yeah, until I was like, come travel, and I'm like, can't, but maybe. Like it's something that everyone battles with, but I think when you start taking it tiny step at a time and you start living unconventionally, like I don't know, having breakfast for dinner even though you were taught not to, slowly
And
you'll build up.
every meal she eats all the flavors in one. Like that was something that really shocked me.
Yeah, I was always taught that I ate like a plebeian, which is like a servant. I don't know, it's like a saying in Russian. I don't know, because I always eat a fruit, a vegetable, a piece of chocolate with cheese and like lobster at the same time. Like
she just does things in her own way, and she has so much wisdom in her. When I left the US, she like wrote me this book with like 150 pages in, and I go back and read it, and I'm like, this girl, like, she knows everything. And this is what I'm saying, like, spiritual or not, like, it's just a label because, yes, we're both not perfect. You know, we both say things that we don't always do. Like, you know, that's how it is. But her authenticity, her wisdom, her unconditional love, even though she does piss me off and I confront her about it now because I feel safe to do so, which is a gift. She's been my greatest teacher, and I'm so grateful that you're in my life and that you will continue to be. It's
yay.
so beautiful. So cherish your friends, learn from the relationships in your life, and I hope this empowers you to speak your truth, post that video of you being weird, feel confident in your body. Like there's so much that came through here, which I knew it would. And there's still more we could talk about, obviously, but we could talk forever. That's the thing about us.
Yeah, we used to fall asleep talking.
Yeah, and then wake up talking. And I remember I spoke to my medium because I was so upset I was leaving you. And that was like a whole nother grieving death process for me. Anyway, she said you're going to find more people that you can talk to with for hours and hours. Because that was one of the things I loved about you, is because like we would spend non-stop time. And I was like, we just would not have, like, we could just talk.
I've never met someone who I could just talk nonsense to like Talia. And Talia cares. And I care about Talia's nonsense. Like I would look up at the sky and I would just be like, have you ever wondered what a cloud tastes like? And then we would talk for 30 minutes about something just completely just, and then we would turn into like a role play. And it was just like, it was,
There's no limits to like how much fun you can have
I think
with a friend
play.
when you
I think
connect.
play is like the biggest thing that was
Yes,
between us. And yeah, and I don't have that with anyone else because
I
everyone else would,
know.
yeah, like I try doing with other people in my life currently and they get weirded out and then it just makes me feel insecure and then I'm like, okay, you know what? I
I
don't even know
tried.
why. Yeah, I don't.
Well, hopefully we'll be reunited super soon. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, just for all that you are, for the way you inspire and show up in this world, and for the friend that you are to me. And I hope whoever's still listening got inspired by this legend.
Thanks. Love it,
Yeah, okay.
Talia.